What's up, everybody? Jake from Strat Geeks coming at you here. I get a lot of questions or comments, or I guess even you could say accusations about curve fitting, that we curve fit our results. Maybe one of the reasons that we get those accusations is because our drawdown on our ORS and our Axios is very similar. I do that on purpose because I want a baseline of somewhere under $1,500. Usually shooting closer to $1,000 for both strategies, so we have kind of an apples to apples comparison with the foundation being the max drawdown. The profits on top of that, yeah, okay, cool, whatever they end up. But I want to get the drawdowns as close as I can between both strategies. Over here on the right is ORS, over here on the left is Axios. You can see like some people might prefer ORS with these settings because the profit factor is a little bit higher. And there's fewer trades, but some people might like Axios because there's more trades, don't really care that the profit factor isn't quite as high because the equity curve is, or the profits are higher. So I went through and I wrote something up that I'm just going to read out because it's easier to try my best to explain the difference between curve fitting and optimizing. So I'm just going to leave these results up on the screen while I read this. It's pretty interesting. I feel like many people don't really understand the difference between optimizing and curve fitting. There's a major difference, and here we go. So curve fitting is engineering a strategy to impress a spreadsheet. Optimization is engineering a strategy to survive a market. Like I said, I've seen comments about curve fitting, so let's clear something up. Because there's a big difference between curve fitting and optimizing, and most people don't actually know where that line is, unfortunately. Curve fitting is when you start doing weird, hyper-specific things just to make a backtest look better. Hyper-specific. For example, starting your strategy at 9:47 a.m. and stopping at 1:22. Like, what is that? What? Why those times? Make it 9:45 to 1:30, or 10 a.m. to noon, something that makes more sense. Or something like using a 23 period moving average. 23 period? No, use something like 20, or a 9 moving average is actually very common. A 20, a 50, a 100, something that other people, like it's known, 23 period, that's, or you setting your stop loss for the strategy at 193 ticks. Like, no, why 193? Make it 200, make it 100, make it 150, make it 175. Increments like that. Or your target's 127 ticks. Like, make it 125. To me, that's curve fitting. Why 193? Why 127? Why 947 a.m.? If the only reason those numbers exist is because they made the equity curve smoother on past data, that is absolutely curve fitting. That's forcing a strategy to memorize instead of building something structurally sound. Curve fitting usually looks like hyper-specific time windows, odd indicator periods, strange stop and target numbers, and dozens of tiny tweaks to perfect the curve. So that's not engineering, that's curve sculpting, curve fitting. Optimization is different. We need to optimize, obviously. Optimization means adjusting a small number of logical parameters within a structured framework. Things like aligning trade windows with known volatility sessions, adjusting position size for account size, keeping consistent test windows, making sure risk scales appropriately, on and on and on and on and on. Tweaking a moving average, yeah, from 50 to 100. Maybe one day we realized that 50 wasn't the best and we tried 100 and we're like, oh, duh, we should use that. Like that's optimizing, not choosing a 58 period EMA. So anyway, that's refinement, not what curve fitting is. It's distortion. If your strategy only works when the EMA is 23, the stop is 193 ticks, and you start trading at 9:47 a.m., it's fragile. The moment the market structure shifts, it breaks. A robust strategy should work within ranges, not magic numbers. So stop loss between 100 and 200 ticks based on 25 tick increments, something like that. Curve fitting chases perfection. Optimization aims for durability. And here's the real test. If live trades consistently resemble the backtest across forward periods, and again, our backtests more often than not, most of the time, 90, 95% or more, our back-tested results match our live results. So you need all this without constantly changing parameters. So that's robustness. If you keep tuning strange numbers every month to make, or every day, to make it look good, yeah, that's curve fitting, but we don't do that. Now let me address the templates and the updates, because this is important. So yes, we do update templates. If we run across better settings that improve structure without overfitting or curve fitting, we use them. Sometimes a member will send something they tested, I'll look at it and go, whoa, that's actually better. If it makes sense logically and it holds up structurally, so they're not sending me something that's 192 ticks or something, yeah, then maybe we'll adopt it. And I'll post the new template with, their name on it, like Joe Smith 12/28/26. He came up with a new template, and I'll put it on Google Drive, and people can try it out if they want, if he's willing to share, Yeah, because if I didn't notice something, if I noticed something I didn't see before, I absolutely allow myself to be flexible. That's not curve fitting, that's optimization. Markets change, volatility changes, behavior changes. Refusing to adapt isn't discipline, it's rigidity, and I don't want to be rigid. There's a saying that I like that fits this perfectly. It's not the strongest or the most intelligent that survive, but the most responsive to change. Now let me give you 3 analogies that make this even more obvious. These are pretty good. First, the student analogy. Curve fitting is like a student who memorizes the exact answer to last year's test. They ace that test, then the questions change slightly, and they fail. Optimization is actually learning the material. One memorizes the patterns, the other understands the structure. Okay, so here's the second one, the tailored suit. Curve fitting is tailoring a suit so tightly to one person on one day that it fits perfectly, but no one else can wear it. Optimization is designing something that fits well across normal variation, like size medium will work between this guy and this guy, size large between this guy and this guy. Okay. And then, I really like this one, the race car. Curve fitting is building a car that only works on one specific track at one specific temperature. Optimization is building a car that performs across all tracks and conditions. Maybe you need to change out a tire for wet or dry conditions, but the car works across multiple tracks and conditions. But yeah, markets are the same way. There's a difference between refining structure and forcing a chart to behave, or forcing a strategy to behave within the historical data. And that difference matters. Yeah. So I just wanted to make that video, this video, kind of get that off my chest, because it honestly kind of hurts my feelings when I feel like, some people accuse us of curve fitting. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good explanation. Again, we got Axios 90 days over here on the left, ORS 90 days over here on the right. Our back tested do match the live 90-95% of the time. Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that our back tests match the live most of the time is we don't use Heikin-Ashi bars, we don't use Renko bars, we don't use crazy trailing stops. ORS, this template does have some break evens, but you do sacrifice a little bit of accuracy using break evens on a strategy. But the equity curve here on ORS looks amazing with the actual curve. There's no flat spots. So I'm allowing a break even over here on ORS, but it's still going to match 90-95% of the time. But on Axios, no break evens, no trailing stops, no crazy charts, no Heikin-Ashi or Renko or anything. But yeah, both of these strategies match 90. I say 90, but then I know I have a subscriber saying, no, dude, it's actually 97% of the time. I haven't seen what. I honestly have not seen a trade not match for a while. So, the whole idea is being able to trade a system live. So by system, I mean an algorithm. Automation live, being done for the trading day, and then going back into the strategy, checking the backtest box, and going and seeing if those backtest trades for that particular day match up with the live. And with our strategies, that's freaking most of the time, 90, 95 or greater percent of the time. Anyway, I could go on and on and on and on and on about that, and that's why some companies tend to use the Heikin-Ashi and the Renko bars and the trailing stops and the weird time. Oh, that's another thing with optimizations. What do you use, a 42-second time frame? That's like another thing. That's curve fitting. Well, my strategy works on a 31-second like time frame. Like, all right, maybe use a 30-second. My strategy works on a 64-minute time frame. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's curve fitting. It's the using of the weird numbers and the weird frames and stuff that's curve fitting. Yeah, so we don't do that. We have to optimize though. I want to optimize. Look how balanced Axios long and short trades are. It's freaking amazing. And ORS. So that's another thing that tells me the robustness of the strategy. Like, we make money going up, we make money going down. Longs and shorts. You know, like a lot of people who don't understand anything about futures trading are like, what? Oh, the market's going down. How can you make money? Well, you just put a short in. But even if the market over the last 90 days, it's been trending up, it's been trending down, it's been going sideways, and we got great results through all that. Anyway, we do have a sale rolling through right now. I'll put the link in the description. It's not listed on our website. And then, yeah, shoot me a DM. Over on Discord, you can go to SGt&x.ai, scroll down a little bit. You know what? I should probably put the website up here at the end of the video. One sec. There we go. Wow, I feel so much better after getting that curve fitting versus optimization thing done off my chest. Yeah, so you go to StratGeeks.ai, scroll down just a little bit, and you'll see this giant red button. Click on that. It'll direct you to our Discord. And you can shoot me DMs and whatnot if you have questions. But yeah, I'll put the link for the sale in the description. And it's a better deal than anything on our website. Plus, yeah, it's $100 off the 3-month. Plus, we're adding an extra month, subtracting another $100 plus a free setup meeting with me, which is worth a couple $100 right there. So good stuff. Jake from Strat Geeks, and signing out. Talk to you later, everybody.